All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Let me just switch slides here.
Here we are, all of us together, talking about flow codes and nonprofits. Yeah. So I guess should we maybe introduce ourselves?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm a guest host, guest co-host. I'm sorry. This is all being done in coordination with each other. Nick, that's my name. I work in the marketing department here at Flowcode. Then we have Corinne and Georgette. I will let each of them say hello and introduce themselves quick and talk about what they do.
Great.
Awesome. Corinne, I'll pass it to you first.
Yeah, thank you. I am the creator community manager here at Flowcode, and I work constantly with Georgette, and we're just so happy to have Nick as a co-host today.
Awesome. And I am Georgette, customer lifecycle manager here at Flowcode. Also work closely with Corinne, all about our customers and all about Flowcode. So thanks so much for joining us. And Nick will kick us off with our solution.
Our solution here at Flowcode, item number one. First off, we help start over. Flowcode helps power direct connections for the world's leading nonprofits and brands. We have over 3 million creators actively using our platform. They have made over 350 million connections in this vertical, and we're in 100 plus countries. The idea here is to say we did not get invented last night, and we are here to do some real work. These are not small businesses below us, and you may have heard of the American Red Cross, up and coming little business trying to help people do the thing. Mount Sinai, we have some stories we can tell you about how Mount Sinai was able to use flow codes to do some stuff that kind of defined where Flowcode would end up going and being. And what's neat is we're helping people while also discovering these things. You're not here for the Flowcode story. You're here for the how does this help your nonprofit story. We're going to merge the two. It's going to be so educational. And then the differentiator, you most likely have seen at some point a QR code that looks like the one on the left. And it looks like it was designed by a robot and made for a robot. We are making most of our codes for humans, very non-robot-y, and they're the ones that are flashing up right in front of you as they kind of go through. We pride ourselves on, and in no particular order, design, which is very big. That actually would stay at the top of the design. Dynamicness. I don't know if anyone here has ever printed out a QR code, made a bunch of copies, put them into the world, and then realized that's a broken link. Dynamic means you don't have that problem anymore. We only deal in dynamic because we want to help connect data from users to the people who want to actually, use that to grow their business. Data is definitely at the top of the list. We are all about making connections and then pointing back to, like, where did they come from? Why did they get there? What are the things that go into someone deciding to scan a code? Privacy, GDPR and CCPA, GDPR, CCPA compliance. I need to be very correct.
I mix it up all the time, Nick.
we have legal counsel who would say, Nick, get it right. GDPR, that is privacy standards in the EU. Can you sell my data? Can I opt out of the data that I'm giving away by scanning a code? And then CCPA, that's privacy compliance in California. If you're broadcasting, or not just broadcasting, but putting codes out in the wild, you want to have CCPA compliance, because you don't know what if someone does scan my code in California? Am I going to go to jail? I don't want that. Flowcode solves a problem. No jail for CCPA compliance. We're patented protected. Our circle and our ability to make things more scannable on television. I won't belabor us with those. Quality assurance, we have strict rules about what works and what doesn't. And they're not rules that we say, they're just rules for the sake of Flowcode, but rules so that you, the client, the nonprofit, the person who wants to connect with another human, it's going to work. We're all about our codes actually working, and we don't put out codes with the wrong colors that are not going to scan well. It's all about good experiences. Finally, Again, these are all number one on the list, but flow page is a big deal. If you are looking to target, not target, but retarget using pixels or figure out bounce rates, time on screen, you can really engage your community with a flow page. And I like to describe it as like a better looking MySpace. Not because MySpace is so great, because MySpace was really easy and you can put anything on here that points to your brand. I'd say it's like a cross between MySpace and its flexibility and Facebook back when people liked Facebook. Like the two things kind of come together. You can put some pictures in, but the larger thing here is you're containing an experience where people land and then they have options. Are they going to go to donate something, learn about your team or why they should donate? Are they signing up for an event? What is it? You can put all those things on this page and then you get to bypass. I don't know if anyone else has the issue of sometimes website pages are hard to get up. Sometimes it's hard to get your web department to put up the page in the amount of time you want. These are easily made within 20 minutes. And if you want it to be the fanciest flow page that it could be, we're talking about an hour of time invested. So not that much. And it doesn't take an entire department of humans to make one of these pages. What am I missing, guys? Flow page.
There's no additional cost either. I mean, it's included in your Flowcode plan, which is the best part. You're not spending money for hosting fees or need to deal with HTML. You don't need any coding. It's for anyone and everyone to use, which I think is a great thing to call out too.
Okay, so we've covered our flow codes. They look real nice, but more than that, they give us really great data. We can fix any mistake that ever went out in the wild. And that's a thing. We have had people call us say, can you just help? I'll buy an enterprise deal, but can you fix the one that I just printed on 60,000 magazines? Can't help with that, but we can help with everything going forward. That's why Flowcode stays dynamic. Flow pages, we just covered that. Under 60 seconds, you can create one. You can create a really good one in 10 minutes, and the most fancy one would be an hour. They're built for mobile optimization and retargeting. And then the data and analytics is really the thing that makes me the most excited. It's connecting the offline to the online world instantly and magically. And Flowcode people say that a lot, but what it means is like, how do you, like I have metrics on things that I didn't have metrics on before. I have a really good story about that and we'll go into it later.
Awesome.
Number 2.
Thanks, Nick. Oh, I was gonna say number 2, pass it over to Corinne.
Thank you both. So depending on your industry, there are hundreds of ways you can use Flowcode, but here are some of the ways that you can use them in the nonprofit industry. So you can create seamless experiences at in-person events and drive frictionless donations with Flowcode. So capabilities like contactless payments and flow page take the pain points out of fundraising and allow people to directly donate within your event. So this leads to happier donors and more opportunities to collect those donations. Next are on-screen integrations, which will allow you to seamlessly connect your audience from the visual world to the online world. So rather than flashing up a phone number or a URL that people won't type out, flow codes allow you to instantly drive the exact action you want, and you want people to take without any of that hassle. Next, growing and engaging your community. So you're able to implement Flowcode across a multitude of channels, which will allow you to create experience for your customers and even potential customers at every touch point. So being able to utilize multiple channels like print, out of home, digital, and others will maximize engagement with your community. That way, you're able to interact with your audience more than ever before. Next, you're able to take your lead generation game to a whole new level with CRM collection, which will allow you to know who's scanning and engaging with your content. So as Nick mentioned, we are GDPR and CCPA certified, which means we don't collect any personally identifiable information at the point of scan, but Flowpage's CRM or contact collection widget allows you to integrate with things like MailChimp, HubSpot, and Salesforce and collect that contact information so that you can automate your messaging and retarget your audience on a larger scale. And then last but not least, you can harness the power of Flowcode to engage your customers on a deeper level. So you can use Flowcodes as a portal to transport scanners from the offline world right to your digital ecosystem. And then the power is in your hands. So you can choose what content they have to interact with. And you'll also be able to understand where and how your audience is choosing to interact with your materials using Flowcode's data and analytics, which, as Nick mentioned, we'll get into later. We really wanted to highlight more ways that you could implement Flowcode. So while we called out some of the use cases in the previous slide, you'll see some here that might inspire you more. So first and foremost, we have check-ins. So you can decrease wait times and improve your overall customer experience. Print your codes on a table tent, flyer, or even display it on a tablet screen for guests to scan upon entering the facility or event. Next, we know how important fundraising is for nonprofits and charitable organizations like yourselves. So we listed numerous channels through which you can drive maximum donations. These include things like pamphlets and newsletters, the backs of seats, and fun merchandise items like t-shirts, mugs, and even business cards. Then we were chatting about use cases the other day, and Nick brought up a great one, which I thought it would be fun for him to share. Nick, I think you're muted.
What's great about when you're muted, aside from being called out for being muted and dead air, is that you get to restart the sentence and have no awkwardness.
Yeah, of course.
We
Nailed
love
it.
that.
We were talking yesterday about, things we want to talk, and I sillily, I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah,
I asked Corinne and Georgette, I'm like, have you guys heard my park bench story? And they said, no, Nick, we haven't heard your random park bench story. So here it is. I was working at a news organization in Southwest Florida, and we had sent a videographer to go do a story about something. I don't remember what it was. And he went out to the beach where this story was going to be happening. It was like kind of not a great story. It was just something we were doing to do. And while he was there, he figured out, well, actually, he came back and he goes, I didn't do the story you asked. I said, oh, really? He goes, oh, I ran into this guy who was crying on a bench. And immediately I'm like, I don't know what's happening. What is this story? He goes, the dad was crying on the bench. It was 2 years. He had never been to that bench, and he was sad because the bench was dedicated to the daughter that him and his wife had lost 2 or 3 years before that. And it was this really emotional story. And we talked to the dad, and we were able to tell more of that girl who past's story, why she was important to her family, the things that they were trying to get done by donating that bench at an area where you could just sit and watch the ocean in this really peaceful, serene place. And the thing that is cool to me about doing that story is those parents now had some sort of way to track the response to this thing they did in memoriam of their daughter. And I didn't think anything. I just thought this is a really good story, and I was happy to have taken part in it. Years later, QR codes become a thing again. Apple adds the ability to read them into the native camera app, and suddenly, you get analytics in offline to online things. So we say offline to online. That's what we mean. If you want analytics on that park bench, and you don't have a random photographer who is just there to capture that story, you could just have a bench in memoriam, and this could go anywhere. And you put the code there, and you just say, this bench was dedicated in memory of this person, scanned to know more about them, or scanned to help do whatever it is that they're trying to do. This gets into a little bit of the how this helps nonprofits, charitable organizations. This is analytics where we never had it. Now, analytics for the sake of analytics is nothing, but analytics in the hands of smart people who want to go back to those humans and connect again in some way or find value in it, that's where this really comes in. It's, we say offline to online. That's what this means. This park bench, these parents could have analytics on who they're touching and how their daughter is able to still be, in people's memories and kind of going in a different way. Now, that's a super emotional, story, but it really illustrates how you had no option to do the thing before, and now you do have the option. So let's remove Park Bench and let's make Park Bench into a giant QR code or giant flow code at the top of the, it's playing on the projector as people come in, filtering in for church. They can sign in for church with that. They may even be able to donate through that code when it comes time for collection. Okay, that's churches. What about charitable organizations? How many people have ever worked at a charity organization and done like a parade or done an event with a booth where people walk by and you try and get donations or volunteers, whatever it is, some sort of time or resource for people. You now can go there with the flow code and say, sign in for this event, or give us $5 if our mission actually connects with you. That's a whole other thing, and I'll pepper in like little thoughts about like ways to tweak that messaging or just really connect in the nonprofit charity way. I don't know, guys, I'm rambling. You need to stop me when I just go
No,
for
you're
5
doing
minutes.
No,
great.
here.
you're killing it.
Didn't want to stop you because you're doing so amazing.
Okay, so in summary, offline to online is when you get analytics on that park bench, and suddenly you have data and information that you didn't before, and it's a connection with a human. That's a human connection story. How else can businesses connect with humans to do the things you're trying to get them to do anyways? You're asking them to donate regardless. Why don't you make it easier by putting it on a QR code so that they can not have to type in? We pretend that typing in a website's hard. It is. Like if it's anything more than 5 letters. Like if it's 5 letters, I can get to that website relatively easily, but I would rather click.
Yeah.
I don't call phone numbers. I click on phone numbers on my phone.
It's also, Nick, to your point, it's also about the laziness. Like we want things that are fast and convenient. So being able to just scan and have it automatically send you to that destination is magic.
Yeah. And before we I'm going to stop talking in about 12 seconds, but like I went through and I looked the types of organizations that get they're exempt in 501c3 or 4 is charitable organizations, churches and religious organizations, private foundations, political organizations, and other nonprofits. So as we go through these, I'll try and pepper in little thoughts about each of those industries.
Perfect. And these are just some of the ways that you can implement it, and in no ways the maximum amount, because you can really put a flow code anywhere. But we'll explain some more about it in the next few slides. So one of the biggest use cases for flow codes are in out-of-home experiences. So it is a $29 billion sector of advertising, which just means that so much money is going into it. And before, you never had the ability to track this, but now with flow codes, you can use it to understand, as Nick was saying, that offline to online engagement. So with the QR codes and the landing page solutions or flow page, you're able to compare the engagement across all out-of-home medium. So you can create unique codes for each of these campaigns to track how much customers are interacting with each material, and then you can optimize your marketing spend. So rather than having a generic, boring QR code that interrupts the aesthetic of your campaigns, you can align flow codes design with your branding and have it act as an extension of your brand rather than just a clunky QR code. And then last but not least, as Nick mentioned, just ensuring that all of our codes are scannable to allow you to be successful and for your audience to engage with you through all mediums and all channels.
And Corinne, I'm just going to add in, like, if you go back to that slide for 1 second, one of those is a big screen, right?
Yes, exactly.
So one's a big screen. One of them is graffiti. One of them looks like a mailer.
Yep.
Like, there are a lot of options.
There really
And
are.
do we test these different surfaces for scannability?
We do. We do test these, and we try to give you all that information to ensure that the sizing is appropriate, as well as the you'll notice the 3 dots in the corners. Those are called the eyes of the code. So if you're putting it on media, we ensure that we optimize the size of those to ensure maximum scanning capabilities as well. And then just some more insights and case studies on the ways that Flowcode has been used before. So direct mailers are a great way for companies to reach out to their customers and directly communicate with them. So we partnered with Flowcode as a way to test the effectiveness of these direct mail campaigns in Colorado. So the results of the test showed a 40% response rate, a 7% lift in in-store traffic, and a 3% increase in scan rate. So take this to a whole other level and integrate it with our API. So you can automatically generate unique flow codes for each recipient. With this, you'll be able to see exactly who is scanning the codes and where they're scanning from. So on top of that engagement, Fjallraven was able to see, again, who was scanning, where they were located throughout the city of Denver. Again, just showing the power of Flowcode for identifying how customers are choosing to engage with your valuable materials. So in addition to print, you can engage your audience utilizing the power of Flowcode TV. And I'm sure Nick has a lot of experience with this. He's kind of a TV expert here, but with ProFlex and Enterprise, you can access the Flowcode TV tool we have directly in our dashboard in the platform itself. So it'll allow you to easily drop codes into your video assets, add and scan education, and more. This just highlights our case study with Mount Sinai because they were looking for a secure and instant way to connect donations at the height or collect donations at the height of COVID-19 crises. So previously they'd used standard fundraising methods, which had a much longer funnel and higher drop-off rates. But with Flowcode, Mount Sinai was able to direct audience across the United States to donate directly to frontline healthcare workers. So this campaign resulted in an astounding $1.2 million donated using Flowcode, which is amazing. 10,000 new donors added to Mount Sinai's network and 143 million impressions across mediums. And Nick, I'm sure you can speak to how amazing that is, especially with engagement, again, previously not able to track that.
Yeah, no, I mean, so Corinne's right. I come in as a real big TV dork, and this is what got me excited like the most is, oh wow, we can measure or we get digital analytics on what was an analog product just a few years ago. There was no feedback, there was no who's here, who's not, and if you wanted to give them something, you had to do it through a website or a phone number. And for years, advertisers and agencies were making separate phone numbers per station so that they could track which phone number got calls, so they knew if their commercial worked. This is just a matter of making a different code and adding that to the same spot and putting it on a different channel and knowing how it performed. But this is sort of what kicked off, not Flowcode. Flowcode was existing before this. They were able to go and help Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is very gracious in how they've talked about this specific activation and how helpful it was for them. So we're very thankful for it. But like it also opened our eyes to, wait, it was that easy? And the funnel usually takes how long? And now we just got all of that quickly. So it changed what they were doing. You know, nonprofits, hospitals, anyone who's looking to get something from someone for a reason. You know, and the thing that I'll add in here on top of, like, we could talk about codes and the analytics and all the things, call to action is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And at the top of the pandemic, at the beginning, when frankly everyone had some sort of percentage of fear, this was a neat thing to like help. Like this proved that you could do the thing and help. But call to action is such a big deal. Like it's less, I'm a big Simon Sinek fan. I don't know if anyone who's watching has ever read his books or listened to his talk on the golden ratio or the golden circle.
Him, Nick. Love him.
Like people don't care what you do, they care why you do it. people don't care that you're a hospital. They care that you're trying to help with this brand new issue, and you just made it easy for them to get in. Like, it's easy because they put it right in front of you. You didn't have to get off the couch and you could scan it. So when we talk about the value in TV or offline to online, this is another example. Like, it did gangbusters well. And since then, we have raised $40 million across Sinclair Broadcast Group. And I wouldn't give that number out. It's their number. If they weren't like externally saying it a lot. So like, they're happy with the fact that they get all these things that they can measure. We want to talk about connecting TV. Again, I've rambled. You guys need to stop me.
No, I mean, you are bringing such valuable information. So it's important to get it out there and let people know how other people are using it. So appreciate all these little anecdotes from you.
And anytime I can bring up Simon Sinek, like, I just do it.
Oh, it's funny because
Love it.
my past job, we had somebody in leadership who was like every quarter, it would be like a presentation.
Leaders
about-
eat last.
Yeah.
Here's the story of I'm with you. I was reminded of that today when I was watching a recap of Seth Godin talking about, nonprofits and how they make money, and like, people connect with a mission. They don't connect with sentences, or they don't want the facts. They want to feel something. Nonprofits have a very specific advantage there, because usually nonprofits are nonprofits so that they can make an effect or have a change or do something. I think that there's a lot of, dare I say, synergies there.
Yeah, love that. Showcasing our last use case that we're really highlighting on a high level here, but you can really use Flowcode to enhance your event. So with attendance at events increasing, lines can get long and people can be impatient, but Flowcode can increase venue sales with food, beverages, and of course, donations by eliminating the need to wait, as we mentioned so many times before. But here is a highlight from Bro-Am, which is a music, art, and surf festival that happens every June in San Diego. It was founded by Switchfoot as a way to raise funds for various foundations such as Feeding San Diego, Save the Music Foundation, and other youth organizations. But this year they used Flowcode and Flowpage to enhance their festival. They used it in a multitude of ways, including a large code on stage, as you can see there behind them, running a silent and live auction, and then collecting donations throughout the venue. So Flowcode proved to increase donation 3 times over and more than tripled attendee engagement. So just another way to get that ball rolling and really drive donations in person.
Hey, Georgette, have you ever been to a concert?
I have been to a concert and I love concerts. I just went to, oh my goodness, Mount Joy. I just saw Mount Joy. They didn't have codes though. They should have.
Well, I mean, we can do that next time. Did you buy a shirt when you were there?
I did. And it's funny, they did not have a code, and the line. So if anybody has ever been to a concert in New York, the line is usually down multiple New York City blocks in this case. So yeah, it was definitely, if there was a code there, the experience could have been way quicker for me. Also, they didn't have my size by the time I got there. So I'm living with a triple XL t-shirt.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the stuff we've got on screen right here. And like, you were standing in line, you wanted a shirt. The bottom right image on this screen is like a Feeding America, Let's Kill Hunger shirt. Like, if I wanted to get one of those and I wanted to pay $30 for it, but they almost certainly weren't going to have my size, and I had to wait in that stupid line, I would much rather order it, type in the information, hit the pay button on my phone, and then it's sent to my house, where I don't have to like carry around what's that movie? You don't want to be that guy, the guy at the concert with the shirt of the band on. Like, you want to be that guy at the like fundraiser with the fundraiser shirt, but you don't work there. So like, this is an option that people have to make sales or make the whole process easier.
Exactly. It's all about ease of use, and again, optimizing the experience for the customer or the client or the attendee or whoever you're trying to cater to, and just making it more of an experience and seamless, fast, easy, and fun.
Great. All right, I think we are, oh, sorry, Corinne.
No,
One
I was
last
just gonna say
slide.
there's nowhere you can't put a flow code, as you can see here, but I know that we are up on time. So thank you everyone for sticking with us. We do have more slides if you want to stick around, and a surprise at the end. So I will pass it over to Georgette.
Perfect. I can make this part is exciting, but it won't take up too much time. Just talking a little bit about our additional features. So we talked a lot about data and analytics. We spoke about flow page, obviously Flowcode QR, the tip of the iceberg for us. And there's some features that are included, some really neat automation features actually that you wouldn't really think about when you think about your QR strategy. And one of them is smart rules. So being able to redirect a single flow code to multiple destinations based on 3 different parameters. So the date, the time of day, and the device type of a user. And the best example, I think that would be great, I would say for nonprofits specifically. I like the church example that Nick gave actually, but I know there's, let's say you have a code, for example, somewhere living around the church, maybe it's on the outside, maybe it's during, the sermon. And maybe there's different, places to donate or reasons to donate or causes based on the day of the week. So that code, you can program it to change locations. You can use the same exact code, but you can have that code change destinations based on the specific day. So maybe Sundays, it's a different, destination or different donation page. And then, maybe Saturdays, it redirects accordingly, but you never have to physically swap that code out, which is super convenient. If you ask me, I think we're really in the business of trying to reduce human error here. So it's kind of just one less step for you to have to swap out your codes.
It's dynamic.
It is dynamic. We love that word. And then next, another really neat automation tool here is bulk creation. So being able to create more than one flow code with the same design at one time. And before I get into what that actually means, many people will stop me in onboarding demos and say, Georgette, why do I need more than one code? And it's a great question. And I think we really beat the nail on the head with this, but the answer, to no surprise, is to be able to track the effectiveness of your marketing, analytics. We will push our analytics, till the end of time. But it really is important, right? Because if you're investing, especially as a nonprofit, we know, budgets are pretty tight sometimes. And if you're making certain investments, you can now measure the success of that investment, from mailers to events that you're hosting. And then you can bring that data to the board. And we know that members of the board love data. So just keep that in mind, that you can create multiple codes at one time with this tool in the platform. If you need 20,000 codes or more and they need to be unique, that's available with our API technology as well. Next and last is CRM. So the best way to collect first-party information using our platform is with the contact collection tool in Flowpage. And we touched upon it a little bit, but this is a great way to get past those CCPA and GDPR compliance that we spoke about earlier. Basically just having a flow code scanned to a flow page, and you can have this form pop up to really encourage people to give their information and stick with you, and opt in through your marketing so that they can hear from you hopefully forever. But we do partner with Salesforce, Zapier, HubSpot, Klaviyo, and MailChimp. But you always, if you're looking at this and you're like, I do not use any of these, don't fret. You always can own your data and export any contact information that you do collect through Flowpage as well. And then this slide just wraps, pretty much kind of sums it all up here. One thing that we like to call out is that no matter what plan you're on, you get unlimited scans. So you saw in some of the use cases, there were hundreds of thousands of scans within seconds. We'll never cap that for you. So no matter what plan you're on, you've got some peace of mind there. Also, there are really, really beautiful codes that were floating around this deck, and that means that you can have one too. From Pro Plus and beyond, you have access to an in-house team of designers who will customize a beautiful code for you so that it matches your marketing. Your marketing team will be very happy to see a code that is maybe not that checkerboard black and white, and that actually fits in to their branding and to their guidelines. So just know that that's available as well. Flow pages, we love Flowpage, really, really awesome way, kind of abbreviated extension of your brand. multiple use cases there. We can talk endlessly about that. And of course, behind every single flow code and flow page, there is a human. There are amazing humans on this call, and we are here to help you and give you any advice and support that you need. So yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up, and we'll go into our Q&A. So feel free. Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. I jumped ahead. How could I forget the best slide? Analytics.
Have you guys, do we do data?
Do we?
No,
we-
definitely not.
Do we
No,
like
I don't
data?
think I don't think
I feel like
I don't think anybody got that we like data at the end of this webinar.
I hope
But
so.
basically, I know for some people, I know when I came to this company, I will tell you, Corinne and I actually started on the same exact day. We had many similarities, except one is she was extremely data driven, and I would run away from numbers. I have since then, it's been about a year now. And I've gotten very familiar with the data working at this company. And I think it's really, really digestible for somebody like me, for example, who's maybe not as data driven. This is kind of it's a really neat platform, because whether you're really into data or not, there's something for everyone on the platform. So things that we do collect as a company are IP address, time of scan, the device type of a user. And this is kind of what helps us inform things like where somebody is scanning, what time of day that they're scanning. It's really interesting because with some of the higher plans, you can get things like geolocation. You saw with the Fjallraven example, you can really see where exactly your scanners are engaging from. Really, really interesting for TV, especially because now you can see kind of little hotspots on where people are engaging with your content in the world or in the United States. And then, of course, being able to understand, if people do opt in to give their data through flow page, you get their name, email, phone number, address, or any custom fields that you put, maybe if it's any feedback that you want to collect, things like that. And we're always building out our data, but all of this is available to you in the platform, and definitely explore it. Don't neglect your data, because it could uncover some really awesome details. And then flow tag. So I know we're like super over time. This is just an add-on product for the back of your phone. It's basically a code for the back of your phone. And we always encourage you to set it up to a flow page so that when you're networking, you can kind of show off at an event and say, hey, you want my business card? I'm saving paper, scan the back of my phone. This is my digital business card, and you can download your contacts directly as well. So I know my mom, she's obsessed with this product. She uses it all the time. We were speaking of concerts, we were out at a concert and she had all the staff scan it.
Oh my gosh. Who was the concert for?
Yay!
Oh my goodness. It's funny. My mom is actually in the room, the person from home. What was the concert we went to? What was it? It was
Was it the
Journey. It was Journey.
Oh,
Yes,
Journey.
Journey.
Amazing.
Yes.
But I also went to Def Leppard, Poison.
Yes,
And who she didn't go.
yes. Thanks.
Not going to stop believing, guys.
You know?
Awesome. And we also have a print
I need
and
a new flow.
and she needs a new flow code. Okay, I'm almost done. And don't forget to explore our Print and Design Center. We offer discounts as well for our Pro customers, 20% off the print store and 30% off Pro Plus as well. And we have a bevy of products we're always adding, but really, really neat. So you don't have to go anywhere else to get your print items. And now we get off our soapbox, and finally we are at the Q&A, and I appreciate all of you. I think we literally only had one person drop off, which is awesome. You guys are amazing as well, but we do have a Q&A question already, and I think I can just go ahead and read it out. All right, so we have a question that says, are codes only available as circles? Can they be different shapes? For instance, I work with dentists and the tooth shape code would be a great option. Amazing question. Yes, they can be multiple shapes. We have square and circle, I would say, are the most common, but we've got avocados. We can definitely do a tooth code, for you. That's where the custom code design comes in. And we'll send that, that form, or you can reach out for that form right after. But basically, you'll submit that design detail and our team can build out a code that works for you, that is in the shape of a tooth. Just make sure that wherever you put that code, because of its shape, it's a little larger, maybe 1 or 2 inches in size.
Other question, I've seen flow codes on TV, and I'm just going to take this one, guys, just because TV dork.
Perfect.
Do people actually scan them? My answer to that question is I sold my business to come work at Flowcode because people are scanning them to such a number that I thought, I am going to not do this job. I'm going to do this job with these people and go try and be a part of the future. Yes, they scan. If the Super Bowl told us anything, people will scan. If our analytics and the fact that we really like data tell you anything, people are scanning on TV, and it's pretty exciting.
Love it.
Amazing.
And I think we've got another, oops, sorry guys, being the sharer and also the
Oh,
the
it's so
napkin,
hard.
right? It's so hard. I'm like,
You're
okay,
doing
where
it,
am I? Okay, can you touch more on where codes can be placed? You mentioned park benches and plaques, but anything else that I can put them on? Corinne, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. So I know we mentioned those things, but as long as the material doesn't interrupt the data pattern, which are the little dots within the code, you can pretty much put them anywhere, which is great. Again, there's nowhere you can't put a flow code, but also ensure that if you're putting them outside, like Nick's park bench story or a statue or something, just make sure that it's weather resistant so that it doesn't wear down any of those bind points that you do need to be readable on a device. So again, just ensuring that's there, as well as just following our best practices. So Nick mentioned calls to action, just telling people why they should be scanning and what's on the other side of that code, because we like to reiterate that scanning a code is intentional. People want to see what's on the other side of it. So it's your opportunity to capitalize on that experience and really show them what they should be engaging with for your brand.
Just give them the reason.
Exactly.
Amazing. Okay, we have one more question. I have multiple people on my team. Is there a way that we could have different logins? Yes, you can. With any of the plans above Pro Plus, you actually have the opportunity to add what we call collaboration seats. So that just allows you and your team members to have their own logins. And then it's really, really neat because then you can either create your own content and then you can gatekeep some of the content if you don't want to share it with them, or you can share it with everyone on your team and edit permissions. So it's really, really, that's kind of one of the main benefits. ProFlex Enterprise, really, really great for cross-team collaboration. And we've seen that it's very, very common, a common need amongst teams too. So also common is that once you start implementing QR, I'm sure other members of your team are going to get jealous and they're going to want to do the same. We see that a lot as well.
All the time.
All right. And then just make sure, I love this code, Corinne. Wow, this is a new one.
Our design team did a great job, didn't they?
Amazing. Continuing your journey with us at Flowcode, please. We always want to hear from you. Feedback is an absolute gift. So if you want to scan the code, you'll have options to join our Facebook community there. It's rapidly growing. If you want a chance to be featured, we always do creator spotlights to feature our customers in our newsletter and blog. So take on that free kind of promotion opportunity. Also, if you're new with us, please enjoy a free one month trial of Flowcode Pro and a free flow tag on us as well. So I'll leave that up for a little bit for you guys to scan.
And we'll also be following up with the links as well. So if you missed this or want to access it later on, you can get that link in our follow-up email.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh,
Yeah.
Corinne, go for it.
No, I was just going to say thanks everyone for sticking around. We know that it went a little bit over, but we're so appreciative to have all of you on our platform and to welcome you if you are new with us. And thank you to Nick for co-hosting. It was a pleasure having you on. You had some amazing insights that we'll definitely be using in later webinars too.
Have we mentioned data?
No, I don't think we have.
Okay. Just everyone, data.
Stay
Very
around
important.
for another
If
10
there's
minutes.
one thing you took from this, it's data.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.